Hello everyone and welcome back to my little corner of the internet. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things, gardening. It's such a rewarding experience to grow your own food, and today I'm going to share some tips on how to make your garden even more bountiful. We're diving into the world of companion planting, a technique where you strategically plant different vegetables together for mutual benefit. It's a truly fascinating practice that's been used for centuries, and I'm excited to share some of my favorite pairings with you. Get your gardening gloves ready, because we're about to explore 5 sets of vegetables that thrive when planted together. We'll delve into why these pairings work so well, and of course I'll guide you on how to cultivate them for a garden that's bursting with flavor and vitality. Our first pairing is a classic for a reason. Tomatoes and basil, those staples of the Italian kitchen, aren't just delicious together on the plate, they're practically inseparable in the garden too. You see, basil acts as a natural deterrent against those pesky insects that love to munch on tomato plants. The aroma of basil confuses these pests, making it harder for them to find their favorite snack. And the benefits don't stop there. As your tomato plants grow tall and lush, they'll provide a bit of welcome shade for the basil plants nestled at their feet. Basil thrives in slightly cooler temperatures, so the dappled sunlight filtering through the tomato leaves creates the perfect microclimate for these aromatic herbs. Now let's talk about planting. I like to start my tomatoes from seed indoors about 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost. Basil, on the other hand, prefers warmer soil, so I sow those seeds directly into the garden once the danger of frost has passed. Make sure your soil is nice and loose with good drainage. Plant your basil seedlings around the base of your tomato plants, leaving about a foot of space between each plant. Next up, we have a dynamic duo that knows how to keep pests in check: carrots and onions. These root vegetables have a long history of being planted together, and for good reason. You see, onions release a strong scent that deters carrot root flies, those pesky insects that can wreak havoc on your carrot crop, and the favor is returned in kind. Carrots, in turn, emit a scent that repels onion flies, protecting your onions from their own set of winged invaders. It's a beautiful example of nature's own pest control system, and it works like a charm. When it comes to planting, both carrots and onions prefer loose, well-drained soil. Sow your carrot seeds directly into the ground in early spring, about 2 to 3 weeks before your last expected frost. Onions, on the other hand, can be started from seed indoors or planted as sets, small bulbs, in the spring. Space your carrot rows about a foot apart, and plant your onions between the rows, leaving about 4 to 6 inches between each onion plant. Chapter 3. Let's move on to a truly remarkable trio: corn, beans, and squash. This classic combination, often called the Three Sisters, has been a staple of indigenous agriculture for centuries, and it's a testament to the wisdom of observing and working with nature. Each member of this trio plays a vital role in supporting the others. The sturdy stalks of corn act as natural trellises for the climbing bean vines, providing them with the support they need to reach for the sky. In return, the beans fix nitrogen from the air into the soil, enriching it with this essential nutrient that all 3 plants need to thrive. And then there's the squash, sprawling across the ground, its broad leaves acting like a living mulch. The squash helps to suppress weeds, conserve moisture in the soil, and even deter some pests with its prickly stems. It's a true example of synergy in the garden. To plant this trio, create small mounds of soil about a foot high and 3 feet apart. Plant 4 corn kernels in each mound, then once the corn is about 4 inches tall, plant 3 bean seeds and 1 squash seed around the base of each corn stalk. Chapter 4. Our next pairing is all about maximizing space and enjoying a quick harvest. Lettuce and radishes, with their contrasting growth habits and maturity rates, make for surprisingly compatible companions in the garden. Radishes, those little bursts of peppery flavor, are known for their rapid growth. As they develop their roots, they help to break up and aerate the soil, creating a more hospitable environment for the lettuce roots to spread and grow. This is especially beneficial in heavier soils that tend to compact, and since radishes mature so quickly, they'll be ready to harvest long before the lettuce needs the extra space. This allows your lettuce plants to continue growing to their full potential, producing an abundance of crisp, flavorful leaves. To plant this pair, sow your lettuce seeds in rows, spacing them about a foot apart. Then, sow radish seeds in the rows between the lettuce, leaving about an inch between each radish seed. Chapter 5. Our final pairing is a feast for the eyes as well as the palate. Cucumbers with their refreshing crunch and nasturtiums with their vibrant edible flowers make for a stunning and beneficial combination in the garden. Nasturtiums are true multitaskers in the garden. Their brightly colored flowers attract beneficial insects like bees and butterflies that help to pollinate your cucumber plants. This can lead to a more abundant harvest of crisp, juicy cucumbers. But nasturtiums have another trick up their sleeve. They act as a trap crop for aphids, those tiny insects that love to feast on cucumber plants. Aphids are drawn to the bright colors and tender leaves of nasturtiums, leaving your cucumbers relatively unscathed. Plant your cucumber seeds in rows or hills, spacing them about 3 feet apart. Then, sow nasturtium seeds around the base of your cucumber plants, leaving about a foot of space between each plant. Gap 3S. In this chapter, we'll explore the concept of companion planting. Some plants grow better together, enhancing each other's growth and protecting each other from pests. For example, tomatoes and basil are a classic pair. Basil helps repel insects that can harm tomatoes, and in return, tomatoes provide a bit of shade for the basil. Another great pair is carrots and onions. Onions help deter carrot flies, while carrots help break up the soil for onions. Happy planting! So there you have it, 5 fantastic vegetable pairings to help you create a thriving and abundant garden. I encourage you to experiment with companion planting and discover the amazing ways that plants can work together to create a harmonious and productive ecosystem right in your own backyard. Remember, gardening is a journey, not a destination. There's always something new to learn, and even the most experienced gardeners encounter challenges from time to time. But with a little patience, observation, and a willingness to experiment, you'll be amazed at what you can grow. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more gardening tips and tricks, and be sure to share your own companion planting successes in the comments below. Until next time, happy gardening.